embracing struggle and growth. And so the topic that I'm going to talk about tonight is commitment. And I picked this topic because it's a struggle for me, and I want to learn through it. And so please know that what I'm saying, I'm also learning at the same time. And so I'm going to start with an opening illustration. In 1952, a woman by the name of Florence Chadwick stepped off the coast of Kaylene Island in the Pacific Ocean. She began to swim. Her goal was to reach the shore of mainland Canada, 22 miles away. At this point in her life, Florence was already an accomplished swimmer. She was the first woman ever to swim the English Channel both ways. She had done so in record time. But on this day, in typical sunny California fashion, the weather was foggy and the air was chilly. In fact, it was so foggy that Florence could barely make out the boat that was accompanying her as she swam. After 15 hours of swimming, Florence was completely exhausted. Physically, emotionally, she cried out in the fog to her trainer and said, "I'm done. Pull me out. I cannot make it." The trainer said, No, keep going. Urged her, "The shore is not too far away. You can make it." But after a few more minutes, Florence gave up. She stopped swimming, and they pulled her into the boat. This is compromise. What caused the compromise, guys? The boats continued to make their way to the shore, now carrying Florence, they accompanying her. And much to Florence's dismay, she quickly discovered that she was in fact close to the shore. She only had half a mile left. The next day, at a news conference, Florence said, "I do not want to make any excuses for myself. I am the one who asked to be pulled out of the water, but I think that if I could have seen the shore, I would have made it." She proved her point 2 months later, and she did it. Guys, this is ownership. This is having your end goal in sight. And this is working towards it, committing to it. And her trainer, she knew her trainer, she trusted her trainer, but she didn't believe her trainer. It's the same with our business. Commitment is an action, it is not a word. We have to work hard to be an accomplished business owner. She worked hard. She was a master at swimming. And just in our businesses, we have to be accomplished swimmers and know our end goal and have that in sight and keep it in your constant view. Because you might be half a mile away from hitting your next rank. You might be one conversation away from meeting your new business builder. No excuses. Lead from the front. Your team will follow you. You must be completely in for your teams, just like they were talking about earlier. As our teams are growing, we have to learn to be the trainer. See what's coming ahead, refocus them on the goal, and set their sights on the prize. The ability to make and keep commitments improves results, it builds trust, and it fosters high-performance teams. And that's integrity. Keeping commitments to your team, to yourself, and to your family. Some other areas that I think of about that we make a commitment to: marriage. And I have heard so many women in this room talk about how they feel like they're a single parent right now because of the season of life that they're in. But knowing the value and believing in that value is what's going to get you to that end goal. You keep that commitment to your marriage, even though it might suck, even though times are hard. But knowing and believing in the value of what you are committing to is going to see you to that end result. Yesterday I got on an airplane, and I just had to think, well, I'm in the airplane, and I just shut the door to the airplane. I was committed to that flight, guys. There's no way out unless the plane goes down. But I wanted to get to my end destination, and sometimes, our road's going to be turbulent, the struggles are going to come, but there's no escape door. We cannot have an escape door. And I just want to encourage you, ladies, commit to being here next year. Commit that you're going to come back, and you're going to be a leader that you weren't this year, and you're going to come back with a team that you didn't have this year, right? Commit for yourself, commit to each other. I just think that commit to each other. I just think that the activity that we just did was powerful. We all belong here. Do not compromise. Do not think this is not for you. There's an example of a college student who his grades were failing. His father called him up and said, "Hey, you know I'm paying for your tuition, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And the father said, "Well, you know that you're failing, right?" "Yeah." He said, "Listen, if you don't maintain good grades, I'm not covering your tuition." And so he said, "I'm going to offer you $500 to put towards your tuition." And the son said, "Okay, awesome, that's great." But he said, "If you don't maintain straight A's, you owe me $500. And to a college student, if we all remember those days, $500 is a lot of money. The stakes just got really high. And so often we think, our businesses should be handed to us in a silver platter. But it's work, like you guys talked about earlier. One last example, and I'm really excited about it, of someone who had a calling, walked it out, and had a plan, was Noah. Noah built an ark. Everyone did not believe him. And I have to admit, if I was his wife, I might struggle with it myself. So some of the information about this ark, approximately 510 feet long. It would take nearly 1.5 football fields to equal the ark's length. That's big enough to fit NASA's 3 space shuttles, nose to tail, on the ark's roof. The ark had the same storage capacity as 450 semi-trucks. A standard livestock trailer holds about 250 sheep, so the ark had the capacity to hold at least 120,000. And I was just looking out the window earlier and thinking, you could fit a football field in this valley and a half in that span. And thinking about, really tackling that and really believing that you are called to do this, while everyone else is telling you it's not possible, you're crazy. We hear that. It's not possible, you're crazy. But we know it's possible. We know that network marketing is possible. So I just want to encourage you, level up. Do you want this opportunity? Like your life and your future depended on it. Know your why. Keep it in front of you daily, moments by moment if you have to. Dig deep, make it bigger than yourself. Noah did not listen to those around him, and he still built that ark in front of them, and it was his family who supported him. And I just want to encourage you, the Bible does not talk about Noah's wife building the ark with him. Noah built the ark, but she cooked his meals. She helped mend his wounds, I'm sure. All the wood and all the work that he did with his hands. And he had that support. But do not think that your husbands have to do Plexus for you. They are your supporters, but you can't put that on them as well. This is your business, own it. So in closing, just want you to reflect. How committed have you been in your business up until now? On a scale from 1 to 10. How committed have you been to your leaders? On a scale of 1 to 10. Have you broken commitments that you've made to your team? How has that affected the relationships with that person or your team as a whole? Regarding your business, what commitment have you made that you did whatever it took to make it happen? And what did that do for your team? What were the repercussions? So in closing, last thing, go do it. Go build that ark. If you feel called to do it, you'll do it. You'll figure it out. And we have all the tools that these ladies have given us already. Thank you.